My name is Aisha and this is my channel. Obviously this channel is all about my life as an expat abroad and just my travels and just my general lifestyle. So yeah, I've been living in Asia now for a little while. Currently live in Korea, lived in Thailand before, and yeah, this is my channel. If you're interested in my journey here in Asia or just all over the world basically, therefore subscribe, and those of you who have subscribed, please don't forget to press the bell button so you can get notifications every time I upload. So in today's video, actually requested by quite a few of you, and I felt like it's only right that I do this video because it just makes sense. So as you can see from the title of today's video, I am going to be talking about my experiences of living both in Thailand and Korea. So if that's what you're interested in, therefore keep on watching. So I just want to put it out there before I get into this video that everything I speak about in this particular video is all, oh, let me close the window actually, 1 second, much better. Okay, so everything I speak about in this video is all purely down to my personal experience in both of these countries. What I went through might not be what you went through or what you will go through. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to touch on when it comes to teaching in both Thailand and Korea is your teaching hours. I'm going to start off with Thailand. I actually worked a total number of 16 hours per week. Whether that's a general case for all or most EFL teachers in Thailand, I really don't know. All I can say is that when I did teach in high school, I had kind of like a unique teaching experience in the sense that I didn't actually teach English, like conventional English. I didn't teach grammar or conversational English to my students. I taught creative writing, which was an extracurricular subject. So my students would learn English in addition to creative writing with me. That might reflect on why I only taught 16 hours a week when I was in Thailand. However, I taught with at least 20 plus other EFL teachers in my school, and I was one of 3 creative writing teachers, meaning that we taught a large number of students. So I had over 600 students, and I would see each class or each grade once a week. A lot of the other hours at school was spent basically grading a lot of work. I'll talk more about that later, but that's just to give some context into like the hours and stuff like that. Moving on to Korea now. Currently I teach 22 hours per week here in Korea. I think that's just a general case. If you are an EPIK teacher or a public school teacher, you will be required to teach no less than 22 hours a week. As of right now, during the pandemic, the whole corona stuff, I will say that I'm definitely not teaching in class up to 22 hours. So prior to the pandemic, I definitely taught 22 in-class lessons a week. Now it's split between in-class, online, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's the hours when it comes to both Thailand and Korea. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the pay. So again, starting with Thailand. So when it comes to Thailand, I think it's very hard to give a ballpoint about how much you'll get paid, because I genuinely feel like it's really all down to you as an individual and how well you search the market. Because Thailand has got a low cost of living and it is quite cheap, you will look at certain pay salaries and think, oh my god, this is a lot, and you'll probably take it. But from my experience, after I left my elementary school, when I was searching for my new job, which obviously was the high school that I worked in, I realized that there's actually so much room for negotiation when it comes to your pay. Like I said, I didn't teach conventional English. I taught a specialized subject, which is actually quite bizarre because my degree has nothing to do with creative writing. I have no creative writing experience at all in university. I studied law, which I guess does entail a lot of writing. I obviously searched the market properly. On top of my pay, I did get an additional travel allowance. So these are all things that are negotiable. If you're one of them people that just literally takes the first thing that comes to you, you might get the short end of the stick. Please understand that in Thailand, the schools and agencies need you more than you need them. So honestly, be as firm with your terms as you need to be, because at the end of the day, if they really need you, they're gonna pay. Do you get what I mean? Okay, so if we're talking pay in Korea, again, please bear in mind I work for EPIK, so I work for a public school, I work for the government. My pay is set by the government, should I say, or the Office of Education. Your pay is determined upon your level of experience, the level of your qualifications, and yeah, what else? I don't know what else, but yeah, your pay is determined by that. From what I know, the minimum starts at 2 million Korean won, and then it goes up into excess of, I think, maybe 2.7. This is for public school teachers. I don't know if you can get higher than that, I'm not too sure. There isn't really much wiggle room for negotiation. Like I said, it's all dependent on your qualifications and also how many years of experience you have. EPIK does look for literally 1 year, 1 full year of experience. They will not take into account like 6 months here, 3 months here and 2 months there. No, it's 1 full year of teaching experience at one institution, so definitely bear that in mind. So again, I feel like the salary here is very what's the word, attractive for a lot of people, but please do bear in mind that Korea's cost of living is a lot higher than Thailand. So wherever pay is more like luxurious and more attractive, there is a reason to it. Don't get blindsided by seeing all of these millions and all these zeros at the end of your numbers thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna be a millionaire. No, 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 no. I'll talk about this more in part 2 of this video. Okay, so the next one I'm gonna speak about is my teaching, the teaching style and like the workload. So starting with Thailand, like I said, I taught creative writing as a subject. So what this meant was that I had free call on my curriculum, how it was taught, how it was assessed, my grading criteria, the projects I give out, anything was basically all down to me. I get given like an outline of topics that I need to cover within a semester, but everything else was just basically down to me. I could literally create it and make it as challenging or as least challenging as possible. I really, really like this because, like I said, I did teach over 600 students, and I feel like each class, your relationship with each class or each grade is going to be different. Like, I was able to basically cater or alter my classes to suit certain students. So if I felt like there was a particular class or grade that learned more visually, then I'd make my projects more visual. If I felt like I had a class that really loved theory, then I'd make my projects more theory based. I remember I created a project, a video project, so I knew that my students really loved videography and like creating content and all of that good stuff, so I made them do a whole project, a whole movie project, and they loved it and they killed it. I also gave them projects like interviewing projects, so like TV anchors, news anchors, what do you call them? Basically where they go around and interview people. All the time that I was not spending in class, I was spending grading, like I said, creative writing. I had students literally handing me in essays. I had students handing me in video projects, meaning I had to spend hours watching all of these videos and grading it. So in terms of workload, it balanced out for me personally, just because I made it fun and creative. Also, in terms of teaching in Thailand, I taught all my classes by myself, so I never once had like a co-teacher or anyone that I had to share the class with. Everything was just me and my students. That worked out perfectly for me. Moving on to Korea now. In Korea, I teach purely from a textbook. And when I first started working at my school, I would follow the textbook to the T. Every activity in the textbook, that would be what my lesson was about. I don't have to grade. Yeah, everything was kind of done for me. Now, because every semester your co-teachers can or may change, now with the new co-teachers that I have a bit more wiggle room to basically teach stuff. Not necessarily teach outside of the textbook, but I can add additional stuff. If I feel like the textbook content doesn't really cover the topic properly, I can go out my way and search for like things that I can add to the lesson to make it more relevant. A lot of the time you'll find, for me anyway, the textbook that we use, I find it to be bullshit. Sorry, I find it to be absolutely bullcrap. Like, I don't know who makes them and who approves them. In terms of my workload now, because I have more wiggle room, I do spend more time lesson planning and researching like alternatives and stuff, just because I want to make my lessons more fun for my students. I just feel like the textbook, like I said, isn't that effective. I do teach with a co-teacher in Korea, so I don't know if this is just the case for public or EPIC teachers. I don't know if Hagwon teachers teach with a co-teacher. I know some do, but I definitely do. All classes are taught with a co-teacher, meaning that yes, I have wiggle room when it comes to lesson plan and stuff, but realistically everything has to be, I guess, approved by my co-teachers. It also means that I have to collaborate with them and we have to share ideas and merge our ideas together. So I don't really have as much freedom when it comes to teaching as I did in Thailand, but I think it balances out. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is location preferences. So with Thailand, like I said, realistically your contract, your school, your housing, all of that really is all down to you as an individual and how well you research the market. Location preference, again, is all down to you. You have free call on where you want to be. If you want to be in Bangkok, then only search for schools in Bangkok. If you want to be in Korat, search for schools in Korat. If you want to be in Chiang Mai, search for schools there. The ball is in your court, in your corner, in terms of location preferences. In comparison to Korea, again, if you're a public school teacher and you work for EPIC, you really have no say in where you are. Yes, you can put down your preferences, but whether you're going to get your preferences or not, it is literally luck of the draw. I was lucky, I'm not gonna lie. I did choose Seoul and I did get Seoul, but I do know some people who did get Seoul, who wanted Seoul, got Seoul, but had literally been placed on the outskirts of Seoul. So literally it's all a gambler's game when it comes to Epic and Korea. I also know some people who didn't even put Seoul down as a preference and still got Seoul. So yeah, realistically, you want to be able to decide where you're placed when it comes to teaching abroad. I wouldn't recommend going through Epic because you really have no say. Could go through Hagwons. I think you have more wiggle room there when it comes to location, but again, it's all about where the competition is and where you are needed. So the last thing that I want to cover is like your benefits, holidays, all that good stuff. So starting off with Thailand, personally, I feel like the benefits that you get, if we're talking holiday wise, is really good. So for me personally, in the high school that I taught in, and I think genuinely in Thailand, the academic year is pretty much the same all over. So they get like 1 month off in October, and then I think like 2 months off from like March till May, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. And depending on what school you work at, you most likely get that whole month off or the whole 2 months off, and you literally have free call again on what you decide to do during that time. If you decide to travel, you can travel. If you decide to stay at home, you can stay at home. At most, you might be required to do some online training or offline training for maybe about a week or so, but other than that, you literally have, when it says you're on holiday, you're on holiday. On top of that, you also find that there's always like random class cancellations or a random national holiday that's just randomly popped up. And you'll find, or random school closures. Like there'll be times when my school will close simply because it was on this day 2 years ago they replaced the floors. I'm being so serious. Or they replaced the windows, so it's a Windows anniversary, take the day off. Honestly, sometimes I'll come into school and I'll be like, oh, all your classes have been cancelled today because the students just want to run around. Honestly speaking, that's how it was in Thailand. I really loved it. So again, like I said, search the market, guys. When it comes to Thailand, honestly, how good of a contract or how good of a deal you get is literally all down to you. Moving on to Korea, again, I still feel like the benefits are really good here in Korea in terms of holidays. And personally, as an Epic teacher, I get 26 days off in a year. The only issue I would have with this is that you don't really get to pick when in a year you take these holidays. You're only permitted to take them when school is not in session. If you're an Epic teacher, you will be required to do a minimum of I think, between 1 to 3 weeks of summer and winter camp. So somehow I lost the last clips of this video and I am not re-recording this video. So I'm just going to finish off my points here. What I was trying to say is that you will be required to do a minimum of 1 to 3 weeks of camp, whether that's summer or winter camp. And sometimes, depending on your school, this camp could be placed literally right bang in the middle of your holiday time, meaning that you're not able to efficiently use your holiday time properly. I'm not too sure if that makes any sense, but yeah, basically you have to work around the school schedule, and so sometimes your holiday plans can and could be messed up. Aside from that, I also wanted to add that both Thailand and Korea, and as I'm sure probably most EFL contracts will pay you a severance or bonus for completing your contracts. Particularly with Thailand, what I really liked was the fact that you have kind of like some sort of control on your contract length. So if you're not ready to commit to 1 full year, you can just sign a semester contract and you will get paid a bonus for completing that semester. If you like, you could extend that contract into a 1 year contract and then get a bonus for 1 year completing that. When it comes to Korea, however, there isn't much room for negotiating your contract lengths. From what I found, most schools or agencies or whatever will only offer 1 year contracts. So please do bear in mind that you have to commit to a minimum of 1 year if you are looking to move to Korea. I think that's it in terms of the benefits and the holidays. I can't think of anything that I might have left out. I can go into more depth about like the Korean contract or like the Epic contract and what to expect, just because it's kind of generic if you do work for Epic, whereas with Thailand I feel like your contract will vary from school to school, agency to agency. So these are the 5 things I thought were beneficial to you if you're considering teaching in both Thailand or Korea. Hopefully I've covered everything in enough depth. If not, please do leave a message down below and I'll try and get back to you personally, or you can send me a DM on Instagram, email, whichever suits you. So yeah, thank you. So that will bring me to the end of this video. Thank God. I'm saying thank God, guys, because you don't know how long it took me to record this video. And anyhow, I don't like this video once I look back at it and try and edit it, this video is never coming out and I'm never gonna do this video again. Anyways guys, I do hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I hope you find it informative. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to press the bell button. As of right now, it's looking like my upload schedule is every Fridays, so definitely pop by on Fridays to see a new video from me. So yeah, I'm gonna go now guys. Thank you so much for watching.